Ecuador, 2007-2016, a chronicle of an authoritarian state that concentrated all of its political power during the greatest economic boom in the history of Ecuador. 4 steps taken to concentrate all power. New constitution in 2008 that condensed power to the president. The changes allows the president to appoint members to the Constitutional Court, the highest authority on constitutional and justice matters, as well as electoral and control authorities. Propaganda state. The government confiscated Isaías Media Group that represented 45% of the national media, whose main audience were middle and lower classes, the largest mass of voters. Today, the government controls the largest media group in the country. Before approving the Law of Communications, the gag law, in 2013, President Correa's personal lawsuits against media, journalists, and opinion leaders amounted to $500 million. One of the most emblematic cases was the lawsuit against El Universo newspaper. With the gag law, there are more than 500 cases against media, journalists, cartoonists, and even nonprofit organizations. Opinion has been criminalized. Censorship and the establishment of an official truth is the first step in the erosion of democracy. Justice control, 2011. In 2011, 3 people under the leadership of Correa's government were removed, and the new country's judges were appointed in a process that was severely questioned by international oversight. Correa's new judicial system includes a judicial council headed by former personal secretary of Correa, with the power to remove judges subjectively based on complaints, including the president's. 165 judges were removed in the first year of work of this council. Control of the judicial system is the weapon that allows the persecution of dissidents and guarantees impunity to the regime's associates. Police and military repression since 2007. Since 2007, repression and criminalization of protests has been used to control the public by applying laws issued during the military dictatorship of the 1970s, which has not been used since Ecuador's return to democracy in 1979. Students of Central Technical, Colegio Mejia, 10 of Lunucoto, 7 of Cotopaxi, indigenous in the defense of water. Results of the criminalization. Among the persecuted are social leaders, political opponents, young and women activists, journalists and independent media, environmentalists, NGOs, citizens, all who have been punished in obscure trials for protesting. For example, the sentence of Francisco Endara, who was sentenced for allegedly clapping when others broke into a state-controlled TV station on September 30th, 2010. Systematic character assassination on national broadcasts with taxpayers' money. Neri Zamora, MPD, Martha Roldos, independent media and journalist, among others. Physical and verbal aggressions. Crudo, Ecuador. Lourdes Tiban, Pedro Granja, Carlos Perez Guartanbel, Manuela Pic, Salvador Quispe, and more. Illegal incarceration. Francisco San Pedro, indigenous people falsely accused of terrorism. Coronel Carrion, and more. Unpunished murders. Wellington Alcivar, Bosco Wizuma, Froilan Jimenez, Juan Pablo Bolanos, General Jorge Cabela, Oscar Caranqui, Fausto Valdivieso, Jose Tendeza, and more. Conclusion. Rafael Correa has managed $270 billion, a figure that surpasses the 40-year run in previous governments. External debt before Correa was $13 billion. Today, the actual number is unknown, but is around $40 billion. Product of his economy mismanagement, the debacle is becoming evident. The protests have increased, and the repression and human rights violations have multiplied and intensified. Ecuador is fastly approaching the scenario of Venezuela and Cuba.